The immortal John Hancock here, and it's finally happened. Nintendo has officially launched their first Switch 2 trailer, and I want to give my initial thoughts about this. I have covered lots of Switch on my channel, partially because it is so easy to capture footage, and at the time I had a dinosaur computer. It was easy to cover 1080p. What the Switch has had an extended lifetime, and I'm sure Nintendo's probably still going to at least cover it and support it. But you know what? The original hardware is old. Okay, I think it's going to be 8 years in the springtime. That's a long time to center your support around hardware, and it was time. I think a lot of people wanted the Switch 2. I have lots of questions, and I'm sure you do too. The trailer's just going to be looping over here, and let's jump in. I think it's safe to say there was a lot of leaks this time with at least hardware, and a lot of those leaks ended up being true. Nintendo is essentially playing it a little bit safe, and there's a lot of details that they haven't covered. They did announce that they're going to do a Nintendo Direct in April, I think April 2nd. And so they took their successful hardware launch, which I'm going to be honest, I was kind of on the speculative side. I wasn't sure after the launch of the Wii U. I didn't know where Nintendo was. Well, they knocked it out of the park for various reasons. People drove to the Switch and made it a super successful console. I think it's going to be the #1 seller of all time eventually. And over the lifetime of the Switch, I have purchased 2 models. My first one is still running, but I've had to replace several parts of it. The fan, I had joystick drift, my case itself got cracked a little bit, but it's still working and it's still fully functional. And there's a lot of people out there that may be satisfied with the original Switch. So let's jump in here, okay? And so I have lots of questions, but showing the trailer here, they are making the Switch a little bit bigger. And for me, I am happy about that. One of my complaints about the Switch was the controllers. The controllers are too small for, I would feel, normal size hands. Now, is that going to impact kids? And so, there's a lot of kids out there that bought the Switch Lite. There's a lot of people with smaller hands that enjoy the original Switch. And so there's questions about that. Is that going to alienate any amount of Switch customers making it bigger? Bigger is better. And there's probably lots of reasons why they made it bigger. One, to distinguish it from the original Switch. But so the question is, can the Switch 2 outsell the original Switch? But it was important that Nintendo did make a successor. And so I think it's a smart move. It looks like they've redesigned the Joy-Cons to make them bigger with a bigger Switch. I don't know exactly how much bigger it is. It looks like at least an 8-inch screen. But those Joy-Con controllers look to be more appealing for me. So I'm excited about that. And it looks like there's a new way of connecting them. There's been talk online about the magnetic connections. And they went away from that rail system, which had its own issues. I had a couple issues with Joy-Cons and that rail system. So going to a new system is great. Also, there's going to be, Nintendo has already offered a way to charge Joy-Con controllers separately. So I have a third-party one where you can charge controllers. I'm sure you'll be able to use the original Joy-Con controllers with the new Switch. But, time will tell. They'll announce all details probably in April. So the big thing is they also showed the first game, and it looks to be a new Mario Kart. It looks great, too, by the way. It definitely, to me, looks like a beefier upgrade. It's been a long time since there's been a new Mario Kart. The Mario Kart that we got on Switch was really an upgrade to the one that was on the Wii U. So it's been a long time. It's definitely time to make a new Mario Kart. And Mario Kart was one of the most successful games on the Switch. So that's a safe bet, and it's a good way to start offering new games and new offerings of successful franchises Nintendo owns on the Switch 2. The big reason probably why the Switch 2 is so important is that Nintendo's aging hardware was not able to do some ports of some other third-party games. And so now they hopefully will have enough power underneath the hood to offer those third-party games that everybody wants to play, and you get to play new Nintendo franchises and games. And so this is going to be, I think, successful. The question is how successful is it going to be? Price, you know, and the two big questions I have is price. I think it's going to be between $300 and $400. I lean towards $400 because, you know, it's going to be beefier than the Switch, and Nintendo typically doesn't lose money on hardware. So even if it's at $400, I think that's an okay price. Is that price point too high, too low? I don't know. You know, typically in the past, Nintendo has had lower price point hardware. And so the question is that price point can impact sales? Well, it depends on where the economy is as well. And so they could go middle of the road in $349. That could be super successful. They'll announce that soon, and that should be in the springtime. So yeah, and the other big question is, can it run 4K? So 4K, I think, is the new standard. And I think if they really want to stand out and have a competitive edge versus some other handhelds, going 4K is important. I think people are ready for it. There's more and more people with 4K screens. I recently upgraded my computer to be able to capture 4K footage, and you know, it's half the reason why I upgraded my computer is knowing that the Switch 2 is going to come out and was going to have beefier specs. I want to be able to do and capture 4K footage on my channel. So that's important, and I think that's important to other people. For other people, they may not care. So yeah, I think they're playing it pretty safe. It's about what I expected. And the trailer does show a nice design. I think that it looks like they really thought about this. It looks like it is a true successor. They're calling it the Switch 2. The other thing that's important is that they continued this, where you can take the controllers off, and they offer a holder where you can use your Switch controllers as a more traditional controller. I think that's a fantastic idea. I initially was skeptical about this controller, but actually I really enjoy it. My son really likes it, and I think it's a great way to play games in a more traditional way. And it kind of safe with the name, you know, you can switch it up. They also show a dock, and it has its own dock. So my question is, can you use the original Switch on the new Switch dock? That'll be interesting. It'll be a little frustrating if you can't, just because I like to have one dock and be able to have it for two systems, but you know, maybe not, probably not. But anyways, I think if the Switch 2 did announce that it also is backwards compatible with most games with an asterisk. It looks like some may not be fully compatible, but all the digital and physical games. So rest assured that Nintendo early on is saying it's compatible. So hopefully you can play your Balatro on your new console. And anyways, that's it. That's my thoughts. I'm sure you have lots of questions in the comments below. Let me know. What are your thoughts about the Switch 2? About what you expected? Are you interested? Are you going to wait? Are you totally satisfied with the Switch? Or are you playing something else? Are you playing Steam Deck? You know, what are the specs compared to the Steam Deck? That's important too. Anyways, I look forward to purchasing a Switch 2, and I look forward to covering that on my channel. It's not going to be everything I'm going to cover on here, but you know, for modern stuff, I'm looking forward to it. Of all the new hardware being announced, this is probably number one, and I look forward to seeing what Nintendo offers because, well, I've been playing Nintendo games for over 40 years, and I look forward to seeing what they are offering and the new games that are going to be announced. Anyway, stay tuned. Thank you so much for viewing this video. If you like what you see, please consider hitting that like and subscribe button and clicking the bell as I'm uploading videos every week. You folks are wonderful and beautiful. Let's keep it positive. This is the Immortal John Hancock, and you take care.